Okay, let's try this again. Holy crap. Okay. So Mario's here with us this morning. We've got a great show to do. I'm gonna go ahead and bring him in, and we're gonna be talking about Gavin Newsom's new ban on memes. But real quick, okay, we're about 12 minutes behind schedule this morning, and I apologize intensely for that. But no shit, my internet went out like as I was about to hit the live button 10 minutes ago, and it took that time to reboot the computer and get it back up and running. So, Mario, before we get into the actual
So what you're saying is, for
the
once,
first story,
my piss poor internet wasn't the problem. Okay.
correct. It was not your piss poor internet this morning. Something went wrong on my end. But yeah, before we get into the article that we're gonna use for kind of our launching point, I just want to. Okay, Gavin Newsom has just signed a bill into law outlawing so-called disinformation, misinformation, and of course, what it does is it outlaws the making of memes. Essentially, in California, if you make a meme, you can go to jail, and that's a big damn deal. But in the spirit of in the spirit of what we do here, since we're talking about this new law, I thought, what better way to open this show than by breaking this law? I have this article from the Babylon Bee shared by Elon Musk, and the Bee's caption, "This is important," and you'll understand how important this headline is in the context of the language of the law as we get into it a little more. Breaking. The Babylon Bee has obtained this exclusive official 100% real Gavin Newsom election ad. And I'm going to let the whole thing run. It's 2-minute ad. I'm going to let the whole thing run. We're going to watch it.
Cleaned up the dangerous, messy streets of
like
San
I said,
Francisco.
what better way to
Hi,
begin
I'm
this
Gavin
topic
Newsom,
than
the governor of
by breaking
California.
this law?
This is a message for the people of America, given in my authentically recorded, non-AI voice. Thanks to my leadership over the last several years, California has become a world leader in extremist, left-wing governance. My policies were so effective that almost 1 million people are now fleeing the state every year. We even ran out of U-Hauls. During the COVID pandemic, I locked everyone in their homes, shut down businesses for months. Not the French Laundry, though. That's my favorite restaurant. Last year,
also,
I cleaned up the President Xi was coming, and I really wanted to impress him. He's my boss, after all. This year, I signed legislation that allows me to take custody of your kid if you refused official hormone.
Uh-oh. Well, I guess I still got you, Mario.
Yeah, you got me. Maybe Thomas Waller's onto something. I think he's implying oy vey, shut it down. I got you. Your voice is coming through kind of modulated. Uh-oh.
Yeah, nothing's working correctly here. I'm trying to there we go. I was trying to switch the scene over to the two of us. Waller, I thought today, man. I thought we did them a great service with our coverage of their ball blasting brilliance yesterday. So let's get to the article then. Okay, so it broke up on us. It broke up on us while we were trying to watch the video. But here's the article I wanted to discuss. Of course, nothing's working correctly this morning. This is deeply aggravating. Anyway, California governor signs laws to crack down on election deep fakes created by AI. California Governor Gavin Newsom signed 3 bills Tuesday to crack down on the use of artificial intelligence to create false images or videos in political ads ahead of the 2024 election. A new law set to take effect immediately makes it illegal to create and publish deepfakes related to elections 120 days before Election Day and 60 days thereafter. You know what that's about. It also allows courts to stop distribution of the materials and impose civil penalties. So let's talk about that, because there's, of course, the internet is telling us that one of the things that's being discussed on the internet about this is that the new law, it looks like, oh, here I'm reading this out loud to you guys, and you're not seeing what I'm trying to share with you.
Out of curiosity, do you think that this law
there's the article. Sorry about that.
Do you think the law is aimed more at individuals or at the companies that host the AI generating tools?
Absolutely, it's absolutely aimed at individuals.
Okay.
So we can check that, actually. So the conversation online around this law is that it effectively outlaws memes, right? Go back to 2015, 2016, and the original election of Donald Trump, you know, before he won his second term and was, amazingly not inaugurated, despite having won more votes than any incumbent in history.
Yep. That's what the extra 60 days is for, of course. Yep.
Exactly. And they're already telling us this time around that we're not going to know who won the day after the election. Yeah. You might as well just publish the statement. We plan to steal it again.
Right. Already some alarming trends in that direction in Arizona yesterday. Like apparently the state just said in oopsie, there's 100,000 voters enrolled who are not citizens. We'll try to fix it before the election. And similar bullshit in Pennsylvania. It's going to be the same 4 states. Okay, it's going to be the exact same
post office. And the post office has issued warnings that it won't be able to deliver or collect or tally the mail-in ballots on time, and that will cause a delay.
Yep. In New York. That came out of New York. Yep.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So they're actively telegraphing. They're actively telegraphing that they intend to take what Joe Biden referred to as the largest election fraud machine in history. Yep. I'm sorry, I misquoted him. The largest election fraud operation in history. That's what Biden called it,
mm-hmm.
and employ it again. But part of it is this chilling effect. Now, the concern is that what he's targeting specifically are memes, and handily, we have this fact check from leadstories.com, and the fact check reads thusly: fact check: Governor Gavin Newsom did not sign a bill banning memes and parody in California. Did Governor Newsom sign a bill banning memes and parody in California? The bill specifically exempts material deceptive content that constitutes satire or parody. The Defending Democracy from Deepfake Deception Act of 2024 mandates that large online platforms either remove or label deceptive and digitally altered election-related content during specific timeframes. But what's interesting, let's see. This is a post from Gavin Newsom. I just signed a bill to make this illegal in the state of California. You can no longer knowingly distribute an ad or other election communications that contain materially deceptive content, including deepfakes, right? So what is the video that Elon Musk shared? Well, I got him out of order. Damn it. Here it is. So this is the video that Elon Musk shared.
People are screenshotting you. People are screenshotting you and zooming in on the tabs looking for prawn. People are. So this has happened before. Okay, like you said, in 2015, 2016, an individual named Douglas Mackey was making memes. Okay, but this was the meme war. Okay, and he made several excellent memes about voting from your phone. Okay, or like text in your vote. And this is kind of the source. This is like the test case for this law. And he was charged in federal court in D.C. Of course, because that's where they keep all their final bosses. All right, and he was sentenced to like 10 years, and he's still fighting. 10 years for basically making a meme lambasting Democrat voters, telling them that they could text in their vote to avoid the lines. All right.
Okay, you got to correct you on something real quick, Mario. Douglas Mackey did not create the memes. He found them on 4chan and shared them.
Yeah,
he is not the author.
Gotcha.
That's incredibly important here.
And also, it was paired with the memes about draft our daughters, like support for Hillary, like we need we draft our daughters to go and fight against Russia. So, right now, it was estimated that these text in your vote memes may have cost Hillary as many as 450 votes. Okay, that was actually from the court file.
Yep.
Okay, and these 450 votes would constitute the crucial Democrat Party constituency of individuals who sometimes have panic attacks because their brains can't autonomously regulate their breathing, and that
Yep.
But in other words, nobody fell for it. Everybody knew it was a joke. But this Democrat Party is no fun is allowed, especially if it's especially if it's parody against them. I mean, do people realize like how nasty and libelous the press was in the early days of this country? Like,
I actually covered that. I covered that either the beginning of this week or last week. I talked about the election campaign between Jefferson and Adams, where Adams was referred to as having a hermaphroditical character with neither the firmness and strength of a man nor the gentleness and sensibility of a woman.
Yep. So I mean, and they would just create out of whole cloth like nonsense letters, okay, or correspondences of politicians that the publisher didn't like, and posted in the paper as if it was true. Like this resulted in duels. Maybe that's the solution to this. Bring back duels. You don't like my meme? Let's go ahead, grab your pistol. Let's do it.
I would happily pay my annual salary to watch Kamala Harris and Donald Trump duel with pistols at dawn. Now, don't get me wrong. For that price, I need to be there.
To the death.
I'm not talking about watching the video online.
To the death or to the blood?
I don't care. I don't care.
Yep.
I'm actually a huge fan of the idea of bringing back pistol duels. I'm pretty confident in my own capacity in that regard. I've seen me do it, but
no, I am not, Cheeseburger. I hated that. No, that's another show. Never mind. Okay, so yep. Hillary Clinton is also a big sponsor of this bill. Is that correct or?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, that is correct. And y'all, I'm sorry. Live is hard mode. I am struggling with getting these put together today. Damn. I've got all these. Okay. I guess we're just going to have to talk about it. I've got all these examples pulled up, but there's something going on with the computer this morning. There's another video where Hillary is calling for people to be jailed for exactly this. She says there should be either civil penalties or criminal penalties for what they refer to as spreading misinformation. Now, let's be clear. When we're talking about these people, Gavin Newsom, Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, their ilk, discussing the spread of disinformation, misinformation. Never forget, Joe Biden launched his 2020 campaign by repeating the then,
very fine,
at the time, several years old and repeatedly debunked lie about very fine people on both sides, right? So I don't care what your personal opinion is of the people on either side of the debates, the argument in Charlottesville. It is immutable fact with deep evidence. We have the clips, we have the video. Donald Trump did not say that the Nazis were fine people or that the neo-Nazis or white supremacists were fine people. He said exactly and very explicitly that that is not the case, that he is not praising those people, and went even further to say they should be condemned totally and in the strongest means. Right? So you're talking about these people, and then on the debate stage between Harris and Trump, she repeated that hoax. She repeated the suckers and losers hoax. And in all fairness to the suckers and losers hoax, I'll give the very fine people hoax is absolutely debunked with evidence. The suckers and losers hoax, like if you can imagine Donald Trump saying those words, you're an unhinged leftist with severe TDS. Outside of that, the facts of that one are we have a person who says he said it, a dozen people who say, I was in the room with them the whole time and I never heard him say that, and Donald Trump, who has repeatedly and consistently denied that claim. So the suckers and losers thing is a hoax. The bloodbath hoax, right? And there were a couple of other ones. These are the same people who propagated the ivermectin is horse paste hoax. They are the same people who propagated the
Project 2025.
Donald Trump insisted people inject themselves with bleach. Pure psychopathy. These people are liars par excellence.
And I think that what they're doing, you could argue, constitutes a meme. Okay, and but that type of meme won't be illegal, apparently.
Correct.
That's what they're doing.
You mentioned Douglas Mackey.
They're memeing something. Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Douglas Mackey, and so the story of Douglas Mackey, he shared, not authored, not created, shared a post, which was a relatively, in fairness, it was a relatively convincing-looking political ad format post that suggested that if you want to vote for Hillary but you're afraid of COVID and you don't want to leave your house, you can text Hillary to a short code number. I think it was 55299 or something like that. Right? He shared that post. He's been convicted and sentenced, believe he was sentenced to 7 months in prison. Right? Over having, again, not authored, but having shared that meme. Right? Now, around the same time, there was this Democrat chick, and I cannot remember this activist's name, and I couldn't find it this morning.
The
but
Chinese
I remember it being,
the Chinese one?
Yes.
Yeah, her last name was like Cho, but yeah, that's all I remember. But yeah, she did the exact same thing, just in the opposite. But hers is like her effort was low quality and low effort. So you know what I mean? It wouldn't have fooled anyone. Again, I guess the problem is the better the greater the quality of the meme, the more illegal it becomes, I guess. Which is a standard that can't be. You can't use a standard like that, in a court of law.
Right, it's an entire.
It either is or it isn't. You know what I mean? Production value means.
So the
nothing.
fact of the matter is that what Gavin Newsom has done is not outlaw disinformation, misinformation, etc., as he claims, but rather he has outlawed the use of communication by conservatives. Because anything you can type a post on Twitter, and a savvy lawyer with the law in hand can make the argument that this constitutes a meme and that the content is objectionable and therefore false. Not that the content is factually false, that by dint of its being objectionable, it is false. So let's say that I simply type up a tweet and send it, and it says Kamala Harris's platform is to kill more babies. That is a framing device, right? Be perfectly fair. I firmly believe that. A part of her platform is that she wants to kill babies.
Correct.
Now, the way that her platform is stated, she wants to expand abortion rights and abortion access. And so a savvy lawyer will make the argument that she's not interested in the outcome that the baby dies. She's interested in the outcome that the woman is allowed to murder the baby. And so what you said, that she wants to kill the babies, is materially distinct from that. It's not. And obviously that lawyer is a fucking liar. But what do you think the chances are that a California jury is going to disagree with that position? It doesn't even matter if they understand or agree with the arguments being made. The fact of the matter is, you're talking about a California jury. And, Robert Barnes talks about this all the time. The only rule there is in law today is if you have your case tried in front of a friendly jury, you will win it. Doesn't matter what the merits are. It doesn't matter what the law is. It matters which jurisdiction you're in and whether or not the judge and the jury are friendly to you. Now, that has always been the case to some extent. That has always been the case to some extent. But in the last 10 or 20 years or so, it has become even more dramatically the case. And this is, you'll hear people talk about the Soros-backed DAs and judges. That's very much what has done that, is they've essentially set up large enclaves, basically every major metropolitan area. Like Georgia is a deep red state. Atlanta, Georgia, is a blue stronghold. Right? So if you have if you are a conservative with a case that's being heard in the city of Atlanta, the likelihood that you're going to lose that case, whether or not the law appears to be on your side, is extremely high. Because they will look at you and they will say, you know what? I don't care if he's a criminal. I hate him because he's a white man, or he's a Republican, or he's these things. I hate him, and so I want to convict him.
It's because the jury is effectively like anthropomorphic, mouth-breathing Play-Doh that can just be sculpted by the prosecutor, and yes, it is race and class come into play in deep blue cities when it comes to jury selection. I mean, you couldn't. New York. I mean, look at Trump, the Mershon case. Okay, the Trump sexual harassment or sex tape, whatever, the Stormy Daniels case.
The jury literally said we cannot find any evidence that he raped her, so we're going to convict him on another claim.
But and also in the deep blue cancers, okay, you also have the unspoken jury intimidation involved. You know what I mean? Like most of the, do you really think that a New York jury, do you think they were concerned that if they let Trump off, like if they failed to convict, that their names would be leaked and then they would suffer repercussions in their personal lives? Of course they did. Of course they were scared. Look what happened to like Derek Chauvin. Okay, I'm sure those people were terrified. If they didn't convict him, they were done. You know what I mean?
And the Chauvin case is a great example of this, because in the Chauvin case, it was very obvious. It was painfully obvious that the jury pool was already deeply biased against him. His lawyers filed for a change of venue, citing that he couldn't get a fair trial there. Yep. The judge denied that filing, and his reasoning was, this case is so high profile that he cannot get a fair trial under those standards anywhere, so we might as well go ahead and do it here. And of course, the legal standard on that, right, the Sixth Amendment gives us this. If you cannot guarantee it's a fair trial, then you cannot have a trial.
I think Bear mentioned earlier that, well, what I guess what Bear's alluding to is, yeah, the Democrat Party wants the UK style censorship laws. Okay, they look across the pond, and they are envious of what the British government is, of how the British government is able to terrorize their populace with ease.
Right.
Okay, like going to jail for posting the N-word on Facebook. Like that's 2 years in jail. Canada, look at Canada. Life sentence for hate speech online is in the books. Okay, that's a possibility. Australia is really no better. So we've said before on this show that the worst excesses anywhere in the Anglosphere, okay, is what the Democrat Party wants to bring to the United States, and some Republicans as well.
And those worst excesses in the Anglosphere, let's not forget, that includes the vaccine mandate protests where truckers were just stopping their trucks and in Canada. And so the Canadian government seized their bank accounts.
Yep.
Just straight came in and stole their money, shut them down, seized their bank accounts so that they couldn't even receive funds from outside, seized the funds from their
Give, send, go. The give, send, go.
I want to say they started on GoFundMe to
Yeah,
raise.
They did.
Yeah, they started on GoFundMe. Canada seized funds from GoFundMe, and GoFundMe just kind of rolled over and exposed their soft belly and gave them up. And then they moved to Give, Send, Go.
You can always count on corporate cowardice in the face of a tyrannical government. Always.
And in a lot of ways, this all started, the whole censorship regime and jailing people for memes. That all started with Count Dankula. And Count Dankula was fined, and his life was just basically flipped upside down. Now, in fairness, Count Dankula has done a hell of a job of, the old adage, if God gives you lemons, find a new God, right? Dankula has been incredibly successful with that and built kind of an internet culture.
He built a brand
empire out of that pile of shit.
He really did.
But I mean, he literally made a video of his girlfriend's little cute pug dog doing a Nazi salute, and it wasn't even all that funny a joke, but it was clearly a joke. It was clearly comedy. Even, I mean, lowbrow, sure, marginally unimaginative, whatever. It wasn't like high form concept anything. It was just a joke. It was clearly just a joke. Yep. But no, you said the N word. What like with a hard R? No, the other N word.
Yeah, it's not like he was publishing excerpts of like Europa: The Last Battle on Twitter or Facebook or anything. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Anyway, so how do you see?
Sorry, I was looking at some of the chats.
Yeah, well, they're talking about don't give up your gun. Never will. That's a hill to die. That's the hill I die on, 100%. If you come to my home, try to confiscate my weapons. That's it.
Yeah,
I'm ready to go. No way around it.
Yeah. Well, I have to admit, I'm a little off my game this morning because we had so many technical difficulties, and I'm a little pissed off about it too, because I've got 16 articles and pieces of evidence here to support the claim. Like, whatever.
Well, do you think that this law in California, do you think it's somewhat targeting Musk? You know what I mean? Because I mean, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he's kind of the nexus of this, and he just left California, like completely.
Correct. He's
out of the Bay Area. He's now 100% in Texas. So, I think people who are prosecuted under this law, if I think will probably go towards building a bigger, probably like a RICO case. You know what I mean, against Musk or against Twitter or X. I can see that. I think. If Donald Trump does lose the election, legitimately or not, okay, I think Musk I think he knows he's done for. Like he'll probably have to flee the country or something, because he'll have no allies.
That may be true. So let's end on this. What Gavin Newsom has done here by signing this law, and this applies also to every legislator who was a signatory to the original bill or voted on the original bill. I know this is one of those. This is that dead horse that I beat all the time, but we're talking U.S. law, U.S. Code 18, Section 242, deprivation of civil liberties under color of law. This is a public official, an elected official, a governor, using his office with malice of forethought intentionally to chill speech, to deprive citizens of their First Amendment right to free speech. What he is doing is committing a crime. Now, under the letter of the law, it's very clear that the penalty for that crime is a fine and a prison term, or a prison term, fine or confinement. But it does go on, and I hold that a case like this supports it. It does go on to say that if the suppression of civil liberties is sufficient to endanger the life or safety of the suppressed citizen or any other person, that the penalty can be up to and including the death penalty. When Joe Biden took office, he canceled the Keystone XL pipeline and funneled that money into the Nord Stream pipeline, essentially giving Putin the resources and excuses to begin the Ukraine invasion. Without the switch from the Keystone to the Nord Stream, the funding isn't there and the mechanism isn't there. Joe Biden is directly responsible personally for every death that has occurred in Ukraine and Russia to date. The same is true of what's happening in Israel and Palestine, because he just gave them the money to do it with. What Newsom is doing now is actively and intentionally interfering with an election, the result of which could be that Kamala Harris takes office and continues these illegitimate wars in which we should have absolutely no interest, and certainly should not be spending the taxpayer dollars that we need here to solve our own problems, especially when we know those taxpayer dollars are being money laundered back into the DNC. That is not a theory. We've covered the evidence of that, the shell companies that have been used in Ukraine, the fly-by-night defense contractors that have gotten million dollar checks and then disappeared. So it is my contention that Gavin Newsom's signature on this law will have a very direct corollary to more deaths occurring as a result of its election interference mechanism.
It's the Democrat.
And for that reason, once that is proved in a court of law under prosecution, he should be executed. That should be the sentence laid down by the judge. And that is not my opinion. That is the law.
I think the Democrat Party, and to a larger extent the Uni Party, believe that they are simply too big to fail. Okay, that the fate of the nation depends on them winning, right? In their own their twisted mind, and they'll do anything to prevent them from being disrupted, like they did in 2016. Like they will never stop seething about 2016 because something happened that wasn't according to script, and they will never forget that. Google came out and stated that they would be censoring whatever they want to make sure that 2016 never happens again. Yeah, that's what it is. They think that they're too big to fail. So that's cool. Runnymede. All right. Well, you want to?
That's all I've got for this morning.
Yeah, you want to cut it?
Go ahead and put a pin in it.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us this morning, Mario. I'll talk to you soon, brother.
And we're sorry we didn't have a. We'll try to bring Cam. We'll try to bring Cam on for you, Cheeseburger. Okay. We know you like him.
Yeah, we'll bring him back.
We'll bring him back.
You just keep watching the show. We'll bring Cameron on as often as we can.
Okay.
Make sure you tell your friends. I bet they want to get their holes wrecked too. All right, brother. I'll talk to you soon. All right, guys. Thanks for watching this morning, and especially thanks for your patience this morning. Live is hard mode. We had some hiccups this morning, and I will be investigating. My suspicion is that somebody kicked my router in the house. We'll find out. Y'all be safe out there. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow.